In love with movies. In love with movies.
With Dani and Nick.
Da-da-da.
And she understands kind of what's going on. Like, she keeps saying things like, when the world isn't getting sick anymore, maybe we can go to like X, Y, and Z and check on them. Like, so like the last one was like Hawaii, or like, she's like, can we go to Amsterdam or Tokyo, or are they sick there too? Or so it's
for TV shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She asked about which one was that one? Garfield. She asked
I think so.
Asked if Garfield was allowed to go outside or if he was sick too.
Yeah, she's very confused.
So sad.
Yeah, when one of them like goes outside on her TV show, she's confused why they're allowed to. It's heartbreaking.
Oh.
That is indeed heartbreaking. And with that, we might as well lead into kinder, happier thoughts.
Yes.
Welcome to the In Love with Movies podcast. I am Nick.
And I'm Dani.
And what do we do on this podcast, Dani?
Talk about movies. and love.
Okay, yes, very good. And today we are remotely joined, since we are all social distancing, by our friends from the YouTube channel Family on Standby, and that therefore is the lovely couple of
Brittany and Nick.
I was like, wait, is there a handoff there?
was a failed attempt at one, apparently, but Brittany picked up.
I went for it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you both for joining us. We're very happy to have you. We're sorry to hear that you all are not getting to enjoy your passion of travel as much, and it sounds like that toll is being had on your kids as well.
Very much so. Very much so. But we'll get through it. It's worth it. I mean, it's a crappy situation, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So, well, with that then, today's topic, because our friends have a what would you call it, Nick and Brittany? Is it a video vlog? Is that what?
Yeah,
it's
a travel vlog.
Yeah,
okay.
And,
that's.
I'll let Brittany describe it.
Oh, you want me to describe it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it essentially details kind of our everyday traveling standby, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is we never know if we have a confirmed seat when we get on the airplane. We show up to the airport and we just see what happens. So the vlog just kind of follows whether we get on, where we go, and that sort of thing, with 2 kids in tow.
And how old are your kids?
Olivia will be 4 in June, and Everett will actually be turning 1 in just a couple weeks.
Wow, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And so, well, because we have a couple of experts on travel and traveling as a part of the love and their relationship, we decided to have that be our topic for the day, our love topic. So we are discussing, why love is important, why travel can be important in a relationship and how it can strengthen love, how it can test love. I'm sure we will all share stories of those experiences, both. But why don't you guys tell us, why it's important to you to kind of run the vlog, why travel is important to you? Give us your spiel, your rundown. Why is it you're so in love with travel?
Man, why wouldn't you be in love with travel? So for us, it's a couple of things. I guess that's like a 23-part question, but I'll try to answer as succinctly as humanly possible. So we have our travel vlog because when we first had children, or our first child rather, people were like, well, get your traveling out of the way now because your lifestyle is certainly not sustainable with children. And if you've met my wife or spent any time with me at all, you'll know that we are very, very stubborn and that we wanted to prove people wrong. And how else to do that than to start a YouTube channel and saying, look at us travel with kids and you can do it too.
I don't think I ever knew that it was a case of sort of let me rub it in your face how wrong you are.
Yeah.
That's how it started, for sure.
Great.
And were you guys traveling this much before you had the kids too?
Kind of, in a different way. Brittany started
How so?
Well,
And that we had confirmed seats.
yeah, well, that. But Brittany's,
Yeah, we were traveling quite a bit before, but yeah, I think this is what you were about to say, but I didn't start working for the airline until after, well, right before Olivia was born. So that's kind of when the whole vlog and traveling more frequently came about.
I want to point out that your first day at your current job was the day that you found out you were pregnant with Olivia.
That's very true.
Wow.
Yep.
So
That was a big day.
A lot happening
yeah,
there.
right? And you,
Well, awesome. Aside from vindication, what other reasons do you guys have that you like to travel so much?
vindication.
Is that even the right word? I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
Yeah.
it. I like it.
Okay.
So another thing that we really, really love about travel is that it's always a challenge. We always run into something like totally unexpected that I think really suits our need for adventure. On top of never knowing where we're going, just finding out once we get there, like, where are we going to stay? What currency do we maybe need? What language should we attempt to speak? It's a fun challenge, and we get to do it together every single time.
That's awesome. When do you guys decide where you want to go? Like, are you just like one day, Tokyo sounds good, which I know that has happened before.
We usually come up with a list of just like a few places that we'd like to go. And then we just, honestly, a lot of times we don't even know till we get to the airport. We just kind of work our way through the list in like a ranked order and just try to get on whatever flight we can.
Wow. So do you plan for like international versus not international, or you're just like, meh, whatever? Like, how do you plan for that stuff?
We do usually, yeah. I mean, for international, a lot of times you have a little bit better of an idea. So often we know we're probably going to maybe get on one of those flights. And it usually is like, we're going to go to somewhere in Europe or something like that, instead of saying we're going to go somewhere in Europe or like say in the US. So that's kind of how that works. But we usually have some idea. The harder thing is if it's like a warm place versus a cold place, because we just have no idea what to pack in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be tough. And packing for kids too.
Yes.
Do you have like to-go bags ready at all
Yep.
times?
We do, yes.
That's
That's awesome.
crazy and awesome. Do you pack it like for planning? Like, do you have a warm weather bag and a cool weather bag?
This is more of Nick's question because he repacks everything I pack.
Yeah, I don't really allow Brittany to pack, because I'm the one that has to like carry all of the bags. So I don't have the room to hold her like 14 different outfits. Like, we don't get to check bags since we don't know where we're going. So we always carry on. So minimal is better. So we basically have like our standard essentials in our bag ready to go. And then when we get closer to the travel day, like the night before, we'll throw in a couple of extra things or remove some items depending upon what looks like it might be open. But I mean, was it when we went to Athens, our initial attempt was to get to Hawaii. So
Yes.
so that one kind of
That is
failed.
true.
So how did you handle that? Do you just buy warmer clothes when you get there?
Luckily, it
or-
was spring, so it wasn't like too terribly far off. But yeah, basically.
Wow. That's wild. I'm jealous. And do the kids have to have a seat? Like, what is the rule for that?
They do if they're over 2. So Olivia, she has to have her own seat, and then Everett can he can do lap child. So that's what we do often. But if it's somewhere international, we just try to sometimes get his own seat because we can bring the car seat on and then he can sleep in that. So that's really nice when we can do that for long flights.
Yeah. Where's the farthest you've gone with the kids, I guess?
The furthest place in one flight we've gone is Japan. We've definitely done multiple leg journeys that have been multiple days, really. But Japan's the longest in a single stretch.
Not by far, though.
And that was,
That-
how many hours was
what?
that? 14?
I want to say 14 or 13, something in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the kids they don't mind flying. They're just like, this
They
is my
love it.
life.
Oh, Olivia
Honestly.
loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're living their best life on a plane.
She just sits there and watches Frozen like 20 times in a row.
Side digression then. Have you guys watched Frozen 2 now that it's out on Disney Plus?
Of course.
And we hear the song on a daily basis.
Sounds about right.
Awesome. So how do you guys share the responsibilities? Sort of like, let's say you have a lap baby situation for a 12-hour flight. How does that happen? How does that work? How do you stay sane?
Well, we're not sane at this point, so let's throw that out the window. But it's largely organic, I think, depending. If one of us is tired or frustrated, pass off, and it's kind of one of those just being able to communicate to one another. Now, there are certain circumstances where if we're split up on the plane or, obviously if the baby is nursing, I'm less than useless on that. But by and large, just kind of, talking and sharing responsibilities as you can.
Less than useless. Come on, you've got nipples. Can you milk me?
Wrong movie. But no, unfortunately, it would not work. It might pacify, but.
But that's something I hadn't thought of, is that you guys do this situation with your kids and sometimes are not even next to each other by the nature of
More
staying
often than
alive.
not, we're not together.
That just happened to us when we went to Buenos Aires in early January. We were completely split up. Nick started with Olivia and I started with Everett, and we just traded back and forth.
Oh, I forgot about that. How quickly you block that out.
But on overnight flights, they really do sleep a lot of the time. So we have been getting lucky in that area. But
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice at least.
So what do you think this travel has done for your marriage?
Both of us are like, which one? Who wants to answer?
I was just going to say, dang, that was a long pause.
Well, I think we're both going to have the same answer. And I think that answer is that it has added an infinite amount of flexibility and understanding. And everything not just travel related, but maybe I'm not speaking for you, but.
yeah, I mean, I think when you're traveling, especially with young kids, there are just so many different challenges you encounter, especially with standby. So it's like a constant test of your marriage. So if you can make it through that, you're pretty good.
I'm just glad Animal Crossing came out now instead of while we're at the terminal and I'm chasing both kids with you playing. I'd be like, hell no.
Right. Yeah, totally.
That's fantastic. We'll save the Animal Crossing discussion for another time, because that video games will get me going off another tangent. But it's funny. It's interesting to hear you all say that it's a constant test. I mean, Danielle can, I'm sure, talk about one of the most testing times in our relationship being our trip to Peru.
Oof.
Oh, well, now we got to hear that story.
I'm not sure I've even heard that story.
Oh, okay. Well, let me enlighten you. I'll do the shorter version because Nick usually takes 40 words to my one word.
Touché.
So when I graduated college, I never got the chance to study abroad or anything. So in between getting my big time, full-time big kid job and graduating, I decided to live in Peru for the summer. And I taught English and I took classes at this university. And I learned education for social change, and I lived with a family, and it was the best experience of my life, and Peru became my favorite country in the whole world. But when I was there, I was living in Lima and teaching in Villa El Salvador, which is an hour and a half south of Lima, and I never really got the chance with my schedule to go to Machu Picchu, which is why people go to Peru. So Nick and I were dating for, were we engaged? Yeah, we were engaged at this point.
Yeah, I feel like we were engaged.
So maybe 4 years or so. And my best friend Lizzie was living in Peru. She was a Fulbright scholar and then just moved there permanently, and she's been back and forth. And so she loves Peru too. And so we're like, we'll stay with her. We'll travel together. It'll be awesome. And I for years have been telling Nick how Peru is my favorite place in the entire world. So we get there. Lima was awesome. I got to see like my old family. We met up with my best friend, did all that touristy stuff. Went to Cusco. Cusco was amazing. So you fly 10 hours to Lima and then an hour and a half-ish to Cusco, which is in the scariest little janky, shaky plane over the mountains. That's very scary. And Cusco is just a beautiful city, and the World Cup was happening, which like obviously in South America is just a big deal. It was really fun. And then we decided to go to Aguascalientes. The night before, we were going to go up to Machu Picchu, which is a 4-hour train ride. And then you take a bus up to Machu Picchu. There's lots of options for you people looking to go to Machu Picchu. You can hike the Inca Trail and do all that. But we were like, we're not going to hike. Let's just take a train and a bus. And so in Aguascalientes, which is the town below Machu Picchu, we were spending the night in a hostel. And we're like, let's just save money on dinner. And my friend was like, oh, let's find there's this mom and pop shop. Let's get this. It's called Lanchera, which is like $4 for 4 courses. Amazing. Real cheap. Turns out we had soup. We didn't even think of it. I don't think they boiled the water all the way. And we got like horrific food poisoning. Like that was a huge test of like, it was coming out both ends. Nick was very sweet. And he was like, at first I was just throwing up, and he like came behind me to hold my hair back. And I was like, you better move because I'm going to poop on you. Like it was this huge thing. Then he got it like 6 hours after I did. So we were trading off using the bathroom, puking and pooping. And in Peru, you can't flush toilet paper because their sewage systems don't work. So you have to throw the toilet paper. It was just a hot mess. So needless to say, we spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars and didn't make it up to Machu Picchu because we couldn't stop puking. We were literally on the bottom of it. And so the whole trip like derailed after that. Nick was feeling sick for the rest of the trip. I got a little bit better, but then we decided to go ride horses up a glacier, which Nick had to keep pooping, but there's no bathrooms, and it was just like a hot mess. And then all of our flights kept getting delayed, and we got kicked off another flight because it's Peru and they don't have laws. And then one day we were in the airport. We didn't think we were going to make it back from Cusco to Lima to catch our flight back to Chicago, and Nick just lost it.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the part.
I hate this country. I never want to come back, and that broke my heart because that is my favorite country in the world, and it was just a very stressful time. And we were traveling with my best friend too, and so she was like seeing our relationship on the real.
Oh my gosh!
And so that was a very long story, but it was definitely a trying time for our relationship.
I was gonna say I really appreciate you gave all of the context for why I got upset, and then we're very small in terms of the story about why I got upset, but that was the part I was thinking of in terms of a trying time, especially related to travel, because I was not a good travel partner in that moment.
I gotta be honest, I'm surprised I haven't heard that story. We've known each other for so long.
Yeah. I don't know. It was good for our relationship afterwards, though. Wouldn't you say, Nick?
I was just going to say the same. As I think it was a growing moment once we made it through it. It sounds exactly like what you guys said. You guys kind of have trying times, but it's a constant sort of once you've gotten through it, you've gotten over it. So I'm curious, what's your all's story maybe for like the worst? And you probably have a video about this on your guys' YouTube channel, but what's the sort of the worst story for you guys in terms of like that? Like it was the most trying, but you came out stronger on the other end.
For me, it was probably Tokyo, because we never, no, at the beginning of Tokyo, but we never get jet lag, hardly ever. And we went to Tokyo with 2 young kids, so you would expect that they would probably get some form of jet lag, but I was just not expecting it. So we were up at 4 a.m. every night, and it was every night for 5 nights in a row, and we were getting 0 sleep. It was just insane.
I find that really interesting. Well, I don't disagree with you. That was a very trying thing, but like I don't remember it being that trying. Like I know that you were struggling, but I don't think that I would have pegged that one as being the most trying time, because like I mean, honestly, I just remember getting up with Everett at 3:30 in the morning, taking him in the stroller, and walking the streets of Osaka from carryout to carryout, and just getting my walking around beer.
Wait, that's because you can function on 3 hours of sleep. I cannot. I need the full 8.
Yeah,
Nick, what would you say
man.
your worst travel location?
I think for
or
me,
story?
it's a tie between two. The one was coming home from Barcelona, and that wasn't necessarily like because of anything that like was particularly bad about it, but like there was a transportation strike, so there was there was only one bus every hour to get everybody that needed to get to the airport, and it was like literally a 2.5 mile long line. And so when we finally got there, like just barely in time, and Brittany was struggling really hard, so it was hard to like see that. But for me personally, like, I can't even think of a time where I've been like outside of my mind, like terribly stressed out. I'm usually pretty chill when we travel, though.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
It sounds like from Brittany's story, though, she may have literally lost touch with reality because of the jet lag.
I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing every day. I'm just a walking zombie. Yeah,
you were ready to turn around and go home. I do remember you saying that.
That's why it's my worst. Yeah, I was like, we're not staying here for 2 weeks. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt at Peru. I was like, just get me home, and then I never want to leave
I'm
again.
surprised you don't. Everybody has one of those moments.
I will say I had one in retrospect coming back from Buenos Aires when I kind of freaked out. When we so what happened was all of the flights oversold. So we ended up having to fly to Miami from Buenos Aires, which is a non-hub for us. And all the flights were oversold. So we hopped in Uber and we took it to Fort Lauderdale and tried our hand there. And there was a cruise that came in a day late. So every flight was oversold.
Oh.
And then by some miracle of some schmuck sitting in the bar getting hammered, their whole family didn't show up for their flight that was delayed by 3 hours. And so we got seats. But then looking back after we landed, I was like, oh my God, we would not have gotten home for 4 days because everything just kept going and going and going and going and going.
So in a situation like that, if you get stuck for 4 days, do you guys just spend it all in the airport waiting for a flight, or do you go make the best of it?
Well, I was about to bail, and I was telling Brittany, I was like, well, we're in Florida. We're not getting out today. Let's just go get a beach hotel and spend an extra day at the beach, and then we'll try again tomorrow. But then once she looked at flights after we got on to Cleveland, she was like, there's not a chance. We would have been driving home. And that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, luckily we don't have that happen too often. It's more of it might take us 5 flights to get home. So we just try to get closer and closer and closer till eventually we get there.
Wow. So you flew in from Miami to Cleveland, and then you flew again to Chicago?
Buenos Aires to Miami, spent the night in Fort Lauderdale, flew from Fort Lauderdale to Cleveland, and then Cleveland to Chicago.
Dang. Isn't that draining?
It is, but at the same time, having the kids around the house, it's kind of the same thing. And most...
It was more exhausting than most travel days.
That is so true. I mean, most of the airline lounges, because since we get stuck in airports so often, we get credit cards that have access to those. They all have kids clubs, and those are small boxed in rooms with nothing kids can get into, and so it's brilliant.
Noted.
That's awesome. Does Everett have a passport?
Yeah,
Does Olivia have a passport?
Yep. Everett got his when he was 3 months?
Not even that.
No,
he had already visited Tokyo at 7 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, he got his birth certificate and social security card at 2 weeks. I think his passport picture is probably from he's 3 weeks old.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. You guys are super inspiring. I love this.
You can fly with kids.
So
you can. Absolutely.
Take that, people.
cool. We're gonna wait on that for a little bit, but good for you guys for doing it, for paving the way.
She means the
Yes.
the with kids part. She,
Yes.
but it is inspiring because Danielle, you and I have had conversations about like exactly what they said they started the vlog for. Of we feel like we have to do all of our
Yeah.
traveling before.
I would never
we have
pressure
kids.
anybody to have children,
Mhm.
but don't use travel as an excuse to not have them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's
It does.
It
Although
does.
your daughter does the pressuring for
I
you.
can't
so
help it.
that's
It's just
perfectly okay.
precautions.
so where's next
The
for you guys?
couch?
Well, yeah,
Eventually, after this all clears
it
up, where do
was
you
going
want
to
to go
be
next?
Italy. We have to kind of see what's going on. But Olivia is determined she's going to have a picnic on the beach in Hawaii as soon as this is over. So we'll see.
Oh,
She may have made the decision for
I
you.
can't say I hate it.
Right? I mean, she's literally planning this. I mean, this
Yeah.
is not an exaggeration. She's literally asking when we can have a picnic on that beach. Like, there's one that we went to that she was in love with. She literally wants to have a
Aw.
picnic on the beach. Okay, come
wow.
along.
Well, we would like
We
to
have
join
buddy
you
passes.
on your next
It's
trip.
a standing invite.
We've talked about it. Hey, we'll make it a
Heck
special
yeah.
episode.
Yes.
With that, before we move on to sort of the next phase of the next section of the podcast, I was just wondering if there's any sort of last parting words or wisdom with regards to your guys' love of travel or anything you want to make sure you get
Oh
communicated.
gosh, we could talk on that for like hours and hours and hours. I think we probably already hit on it, but just exploring and finding new things to do with your partner is so much fun. It's testing, but it's like every experience is so different, so you just don't get bored ever.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
Brittany?
I would say the same thing. I don't know. There's just a lot of new things that we've done or tried while traveling. So, I mean, I've known Nick forever, but while traveling, we still learn new things about each other. So it's crazy just through that. And it's kind of when you travel, you can also get out of your comfort zone a lot. And we do that together. And that's just something that I think is just kind of unique to travel. So I think that's another thing that's kind of been beneficial in our marriage too.
Fantastic. That's really great. And I think inspiring is apt word, right, Dani?
For sure.
thank you.
Yeah, you guys are very inspiring.
Well, then before we move on to the movie, the next phase is our getting closer
Ooh.
through science.
All right.
So this is where we take questions that were developed by psychologists specifically to get random strangers to get closer to each other, but they are deep, intimate, thought-provoking questions. And I think the way we're going to do this is Dani and I are going to ask you all a question each, right, Dani?
Yep.
Okay, you want to kick us off then?
Am I asking both of them, or do I pick one?
Ask the ones that I gave you.
I mean, do I pick Nick and Brittany, or do I ask it to both of them?
Oh, I was thinking both of them.
Okay, all right. Nick and Brittany. Now, we didn't come up with these questions, so some of them are pretty dumb.
All
All
right.
right, this question is it's real dumb, actually.
Yeah.
No offense to that scientist guy. When did you last sing to yourself, and when did you last sing to someone else?
Well, for me, I don't sing to myself because I never get 2 seconds alone ever. So that one I could cross off the list. But I think I sang. I think I sang the Frozen song today with Olivia, didn't I?
Oh yes,
Was that the one?
yeah, the new one.
The new one or the old one? Let It Go or
The new one. For
Ah!
sure, yeah, she's into that song. I
That's
think
the one.
that, and then we also were rocking out to a little bit of Queen today too. Those were very different, but
Nice.
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, they're
I
both
appreciate
queens.
that connection. To myself,
Nick?
I was probably singing also the song from Frozen 2 I'll pretend that I was singing it to one of the kids, but I'm certain that neither of them were around when I was doing so. And then the last song I sang to somebody, I think I was terribly attempting to sing along with The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald to Everett. This sounds terrible, but it has become part of our nighttime routine. Don't ask me why, but that song is very comforting to him for whatever reason.
I wasn't there for that one. I'll have to check the next cam
All
to
right.
hear you singing.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works, right? Well, okay, then the next question for both of you is going to be even more
I
strange
love
and morbid.
Strange and Morbid.
Oh, jeez.
Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
Whoa.
Oh.
And if the answer is no, because you're just like, I got nothing.
Well,
that comes
I'm largely
to mind, then I
confident
guess
it'll
the answer
come
is
because
no.
I'll say something stupid to somebody.
Okay, then, and you foresee just them ramifications of violence ensuing
Likely.
afterwards. Is that what I'm hearing from you? Okay.
So murder for Nick.
I got nothing. I mean, no, that stuff just creeps me out a little bit, like fortune telling and tarot cards and all of that. So, yeah, I try to think about that as little as possible. So probably something boring. Yeah.
Like you just get old.
Nothing too crazy like Nick.
Yeah, as I was reading the question, I think I probably was thinking the same thing. But I think that reveals something about a person, too. The fact that they are like, nothing. I don't have an answer to that question.
Wait, you were thinking about how
That's
Nick's
weird,
going to get
dude.
murdered for his mouth?
No, I was thinking... no, I was the boring answer.
Oh, okay. Got it.
All right. Well, with that, we will go ahead and take a quick break for a word about our sponsors, and then we will return on the other side to discuss our movie for this month, Couples Retreat.
Yeah.
Now it's a party.
All right.
In love with movies. Da-da-da. Hey guys, we're going to tell you a little bit about how we're actually recording our podcast.
We use an app called Anchor, and it is 100% free, and I cannot overstate how easy this is. It is stupid easy.
I really didn't believe it, but it's true. It's easy.
No matter who I tell. The reason it's easy is because it gives you all the creation tools that you need right from your phone or computer. We record everything from my phone. We've done it on our kitchen table, our living room couch. We're recording this right now just from the bedroom right now, chilling. So the reason it's also easy is that Anchor goes ahead and takes care of the hard parts of podcasting. It will distribute the podcast on all of the major networks for you. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you might want it to go. And in addition to that, you can use it to make yourself money if you want.
Yeah. So you don't even have to have a minimum number of listeners. So thank you, Mom, for listening.
So don't forget everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. I've told this about my friends, and until they give it a try, they legitimately do not understand it. There is no reason for you to wait. If you've ever thought about making a podcast for yourself, go download the Anchor app for free or go to anchor.fm to get started.
If we can do it, you can do it. Da-da-da. In love with movies.
Welcome back to the In Love with Movies podcast. We are now into the With Movies portion where we are going to discuss Couples Retreat with our friends from the Family on Standby YouTube channel. And they picked the movie for us. So why don't we start with you guys explaining to us why we watched this movie? Why is it important to you?
Oh my God. It's like our third child. It's like our first child.
Wow. Wait, it also just went like, not only is it one of your children, but now it's your first child. Okay.
Well, we had
All
Couples
right.
Retreat
Up
in our lives
rank.
before we had our children. So, it's a tough call.
Okay. So just not like your favorite child, but
I mean, I did not say that, but
And why is it so fun for you guys?
I can't remember when we first watched this movie. I was just trying to remember when we watched it for the very first time. But
I couldn't tell you.
yeah, I don't remember, but I know it's that movie for us that we throw on, and it's like we're just laughing the whole time. It was filled for us a lot of inside jokes, and we used the phrases in it all the time.
I can't think of a day that's gone by that I haven't quoted it, referenced it, or even I don't even know, just without thinking of it every single day. It like embodies our lives.
What is your go-to quote?
Well, it depends on the situation. I mean,
okay, fair.
I mean, like, now it's a party. Pow, pow. I mean, there's so much. You've hustled me. I mean, there's just... what was the other one? Then you shouldn't talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
We use that one a lot with each other.
Yeah. Yes,
Then you shouldn't talk about it. I don't remember that from the film.
Oh, gosh. When Vince Vaughn is relaying his shark attack...
Have you been attacked by a shark?
Have you been attacked by a shark? No? Then you shouldn't talk about it. It's brilliant.
That's fantastic. Well, I was going to ask you that love at first sight question, but you guys have already also answered that, so you don't even remember when it first entered your lives, huh?
No, but it's there.
I honestly can't. I don't know. We just started watching it over and over again, and to this day.
When did it come out? Yeah.
It came out in 2009.
2009, okay.
Is when it would have released in theaters. Dani and I were talking about this. I was trying to remember, because I know I'd seen it at least once before, but I couldn't remember if it was something that I had rented and watched with some previous relationship, because it would have been around that time, or if it was a couple of years later where I rented it and watched it alone from Redbox, because there was a period of my life where that was a very common thing too.
That was a thing.
Yeah, you would just go to Redbox and you'd get it for the weekend and you'd rent it, and sometimes I'd go, through three or four movies in a single weekend. But
I'm guessing, if I had to guess,
life.
It came in one of the red envelopes from Netflix. Remember when they used to do that?
Oh, yeah. Do they still do that?
I think for old people they do, yeah.
It's its own separate website now called DVD.com.
Oh. Fun fact.
But it is still owned by Redbox. They attempted to separate themselves financially, and it didn't work. Basically, I don't think that DVD.com was able to sustain itself anymore by the time.
Yeah, that had to have been where we saw it first. It wasn't in theaters, I know that.
Because you guys have been together. I mean, obviously I know this, but our listeners might not. You guys have been together since well before 2009. So
yes. Yeah, we've been dating since, 2004?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, we graduated college in 2009, so it must have been some,
Yeah.
we had some time on our hands after college. Who knows?
Right?
This is one of those movies for me that Nick asked me if I'd seen it, and I feel like I have seen it, but I didn't pay attention to it. It seems like a good movie to have in the background, It's like, one of those comedies that's like Role Models and all those other ones where it's just like kind of a star-studded cast that's just chuckly.
Yes,
it just makes you chuckle.
Totally.
I sort of feel like what that means is that you did also watch it on a date, except you weren't watching it.
Okay, yeah, I was making out with someone probably. Let's be real. I was in college no, I was still in high school in 2009. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I was definitely making out with someone.
Excellent.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an all right, background makeout movie. Like you said, good laughs. You could be not paying any attention, and then all of a sudden there's a buff yoga guy saying like, boom, boom, boom,
boom. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I will say, watching it, like paying attention to it. It was good.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. What would you guys say is your favorite part? Because you obviously know it in, out, forwards, and backwards.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. The shark attack scene for me is just next level. I don't know. It's it's hilarious. I love that scene. I also love when they give their PowerPoint presentation because it is something that we literally do for our travel. So this is relevant for us because we make PowerPoint presentations for our upcoming trips when we are able to plan them.
Do you present them to your children?
So
I don't think Olivia has seen one of our presentations.
That feels like a fail to me. So we'll report back.
Missed opportunity.
I am relieved to hear you all say that, because I turned to Danielle at one point after making a note on their PowerPoint presentation. I said, "This reminds me of Nick and Brittany."
Yeah,
so
he did
much.
say that.
That may be where we got the idea. I don't know.
It's entirely possible. He's overly efficient. That this movie hits on like so much of like what we're about. Like, I can see us in all of the characters. I mean, like, everything from like, you know, the kids and like not having the time to be perfect partners, like Vince and his wife, to, you know, Jason and his wife and the infertility and the PowerPoints, of course. So everything. We relate to everything.
The Home Depot scene, or wherever they were, some sort of store like that, where the
He's
kid
doing it
uses
in the
the
middle of
bathroom.
everything.
That is funny.
There's just not much to say here. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
You have to love the comedic escalation of the end of the movie talking to Grandpa, and the kid is now dropping a deuce instead of just taking a leak.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
No, I agree. I think they created the couples in a very relatable way that you could see a little bit of, if you're in a couple, of you in each of them, maybe. I don't know. I will say the one couple I really did not like is Jon Favreau and Sex and the City lady.
Yes. What's her name?
Lydia? No, that's
No.
that's Jason's wife, right? I don't remember.
No, Kristen Bell is with Jason Bateman. Which, did you know in the movie his name is Jason?
Yeah.
I just find that very interesting.
Yeah, and now we can't. But there's this whole element for us now, because we just keep thinking about Ozark every time we watch this movie, and it's like just taking the movie to a different place for us.
Totally.
We have not watched Ozark, but I'm assuming that's because his character is almost, you could see his character from this movie being pushed to the edge and becoming the character in Ozark.
Yes. Like, this could be like the prequel to Ozark.
Gotcha. That's what I was thinking. I know I've heard little bits and pieces.
Which, by the way, I'm like low-key shocked, and I don't want to derail the conversation, so I'll leave it at that. Shocked that you haven't watched it.
We will put it to the side, but the short answer is it's not something Danielle would be into, and therefore I have to pick and choose which things I watch by myself.
Okay.
All right, blame it on me. It's fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, but I agree with Danielle, actually, because we at one point, and I think maybe it's partially a little bit, you know, sort of the time, like it's 11 years old at this point, but the Jon Favreau relationship, it is just like a definition of, I think, everything that's sort of wrong in how we depict relationships sometimes in movies, in that there's even a moment where it's essentially his toxic masculinity is the thing that turns her on and connects them back with each other. He spends the whole movie ignoring her, ignoring her needs, not caring. And then it is only when he actually sees her having the potential of having fun with other men that all of a sudden he puffs his chest out, he runs out to the dance floor and says, you know, beats his chest and says, "Mine." And then she goes, "Ooh," and swoons, and then they're back in love.
Yeah, I
That
could
is true.
see that for sure. They're the ones that I was probably least rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally. But they're also high school sweethearts. I mean, if you want to use the term sweetheart, but
I was gonna say, or shotgun wedding. It sounds
whatever.
like in their case.
They were together and went to prom together.
And now they're going to Applebee's together.
I love that. I do sort of love that. That's like the sort of epiphany, or no. The I don't know, the ultimate place that they're trying to reach together. That they want to go to Applebee's together on Friday night.
Right? How relatable is that, though? You don't want to be alone at Applebee's.
That's true. You don't want to be alone at Applebee's or Chili's, you know, whatever is the closest chain restaurant to you.
Yes.
I will say Vince Vaughn, his character and his wife. Okay, going back, all of these people I've seen in other things except for the ginger, Vince Vaughn's wife. Is she like not famous? Because I don't know. She didn't do anything for me. She's beautiful.
She was kind of an actress around this time who was almost going to make it. and has kind of fallen by the wayside. The thing I probably know her, or our viewers might know her most from, is from Watchmen, which I think was actually the same year with Zack Snyder. And then she was, I think, also in Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller.
Yes.
I didn't write the actress's name down, but
okay.
Yeah.
Random movie connections in Nick Baldwin's head.
Yes.
I like that.
But anyways, I thought she was delightful. She's very pretty. And I liked their relationship the most, obviously, because it is so relatable that it's like, yeah, on the outside, everything's fine. Like, you're going through the motions, everything's day by day. But then sometimes, there's just little things that you're just maybe not purposely paying attention to or not ignoring. But, like remodeling a house or, I don't know.
Hello, Ronnie.
I liked it. I enjoyed
nice to
it.
meet you.
That was very cute, the way that they just both immediately went into that role play of meeting each other without having to say anything. That was but Dani and I both related to that, because we're one of those couples, I think, that things are usually sailing along pretty well, but that can also lull you into a false sense of security and forgetting that a relationship still requires work, even in its best version.
Totally. We get through things. We don't want to just get through things.
How about some early Ken Jeong too?
Right?
There's a lot of all those therapists, except for the last lady, are also very funny comedians. I don't know the one lady's name, the Asian lady, but she's in a million things.
Yeah.
She's very funny.
They're all so the cast.
And then,
yes,
I'm so bad at names. Nick, you might know this, but he's in Hunger Games. What's his name?
Oh,
He's in Hunger Games with Elizabeth Banks. He's like the Wait, no. I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect, not Hunger Games.
I was like, Woody Harrelson?
No, not that one.
I was scanning my brain through the entire cast of Couples for Truth, being like, who the fuck was in Hunger Games?
Why did I get those two confused?
That took me through. That was an emotional roller coaster. I want you to
Guys, quarantine has made me think other. Okay, he was in Pitch Perfect with Elizabeth Banks as the co-host of the acapella contest. You know who I'm talking about?
I know the actor you're talking about. I am not. I don't know the guy's name, but he's also been in some Christopher Guest movies. He's really funny, and he's sort of
is funny.
A comedic. He almost always plays a pretty similar. Annoyingly straight-laced kind of guy, like he was as their therapist, and he's like, would you prefer I didn't take notes? yeah I would prefer you did not take notes. And he goes, interesting, and then starts taking notes. He plays a lot of that, but yes, he's Elizabeth Banks' co-anchor or co-host, whatever, in Pitch Perfect.
I'm howling and laughing just thinking of all of these scenes because they're all so good.
They are very funny.
Are there any scenes you didn't particularly care for? Because I agree. I think on the whole, I remembered enjoying the movie. I did not remember laughing as hard as I did when we were watching it this time.
I can't think of a scene that I didn't particularly enjoy. I thought that the quest to go and find Trudy was maybe a little bit long. I felt like they were trying to be a little bit like the Odyssey there, but that might be my weak part.
Yeah,
Brittany.
Yeah, I thought the ending could have been a little stronger. I don't know. The rest of the movie was just really funny, and then the ending just seemed a little kind of loosely wrapped up for me. I don't know.
Yeah, where his wife just happens to be there.
Yeah, it just didn't seem well thought out. But
yeah, I agree. I think maybe this is the yoga teacher in me. I did not enjoy the yoga scene. I truly thought it was too long.
Oh my goodness, I'm so shocked to hear that, because I agree with both of Nick and Brittany about their least favorite things and would pick those same bits. But I loved the yoga scene. I literally wrote in here, the yoga scene is my favorite scene, and I think it's an interesting place that's also where they kind of take a turn in the relationships and stuff. But that was where I was howling the best.
Can I tell you why though? Okay. First of all, it was long, and then the boom thing is funny, but also a little predatory. And then I just thought that it didn't fit, because this is in the storyline. He was like, tomorrow your yoga teacher will be here. but then the yoga teacher's there. Unless I missed that part, and he was just running late for that day, right?
Yeah, he was running late.
But I just thought it was too
He
long
had to
and
swim
too
from
many.
the other side
And
of
then
the
he had to
island.
change into something more comfortable.
It was long though. Yeah, I agree.
It's a long. They could have had the same jokes with less boom.
I think this may be crass, but I think the one thing that might have somehow made it a little bit better would have been like if you, instead of them, like when they go out to party with him later that night, instead of him actually being interested in dancing with other people or with the girls, if he'd like just, when they got to the party, he was there with his boyfriend or something. Like, I agree with you that I could see where the yoga scene was a little bit predatory, and maybe that would have taken some of the edge off if it was like, oh, he's clearly not sexually attracted to these women.
Yeah, but that would have been a repeat joke because the masseur was
The massage guy.
True.
But I do like the yoga instructor as a character. I think it's hilarious that he always emerges from the water. It's just so beautiful.
He is a beautiful man.
Very beautiful.
Continuing on the picking of nits then, specifically I liked the thing I think that stood out to me was you could tell that part of the way they got this movie financed was the release of Guitar Hero around the same time.
So true. So true.
Like that was specifically the scene where like the idea of, okay, he, duels him in Guitar Hero, even that was a little too much. The whole like woo woo Western sounds.
That's why I think it jumped the shark a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's like the scene where they're dueling each other and you see like the power bar or whatever from Guitar Hero is like on the actual screen, and that whole scene is being shot like
Guitar
a scene
Hero.
from Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I'd actually never really thought about the funding aspect of that from Guitar Hero.
Either. That totally makes sense.
I'm going to choose the ostrich on this one, and we will no longer acknowledge that is a thing that we've thought about.
We're ruining your perceptions. Can I tell you one other thing that I found flawed?
All right.
I'm going to say it anyways. The one thing that I thought was just too convenient was like when the kids come down the stairs and like, we heard your PowerPoint presentation. We want you to go on the trip. But in the party, it's like they're in a completely separate room. So how did the kids hear the PowerPoint? That was just like I thought that was very convenient.
So I think, and I'm not going to play the parent card because I feel like that's condescending. However, that is so realistic. Like, Brittany, could you not imagine Olivia being just a bit older and calling the grandparents and saying something super, super observant and precocious, and then our parents showing up?
Oh, well, I could see her sneaking in to like see the PowerPoint presentation, but our parents would like contact up. So that was a little
sure?
far, but yeah, maybe how far away did the grandpa live?
4 hours.
I can't remember
It was
what
an exact
4
scenario.
Okay.
I was just going to say it was about the same it is to where your parents live.
I feel like there would be more planning involved. It wouldn't be just, now given this is us, we're on standby as is. So this is something we could conceivably just tomorrow pick up and go.
That's what I'm saying.
But
this is wholly realistic.
But I feel like they would reach out to us before they would just show up, drive 4 hours and show up.
I'm less convinced.
You'd get a text. Oh, I think you'd get a text. Melanie would text you.
I don't know.
It'd be like, we're on our way. And
Okay,
then
I
you'd be
could see
"What?"
that.
Okay, maybe that I could see. Yeah.
But Olivia would absolutely break
That's
in
good.
and listen and then ask a lot of questions, and we'd have a lot of parenting to do.
Yes. Accurate.
Knowing Olivia, I could see that part of it being true. I guess just me not seeing where they saw the PowerPoint, I don't know. It just seemed a little too convenient.
In terms of a sort of filming of the movie, they should have like showed one of the kids,
Sneaking
with
in
their
the
ear at the door or something like that.
Yes. Then I would have believed it.
Because it happened. I saw
it. Exactly. One thing I did, Nick and I talked about, and maybe you guys feel this way too. I feel like the therapy sessions were like real. Like they talk about real stuff, which I appreciate. They didn't like make humor of the therapy,
Well, they still sort of managed to make humor of it, but
True, but they made it real. It was very based in reality.
Like it sparked
Agreed.
some like legitimate conversations between the two of us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Same.
like when they're not talking and then he asks one question and all of a sudden they just are at it
I know my
at each
truth.
other. They're just arguing back
I
and
know my
forth,
truth.
left and right.
I know my truth. I know my truth.
I'm trying to imagine a scenario. When's the last time you think you said that to Brittany with basically the same, spirit as Vince Vaughn says in the movie?
Probably like embarrassingly recently.
Yeah, had to be.
Well, you guys said you watched this very frequently because you had watched it, 2 weeks ago, and then watched it last night in preparation for this podcast. Yes.
We did.
On average, in let's say a given year, how often do you think you watch this movie?
Bare minimum, monthly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. That's on point.
Yeah, you guys are inspiring again. I don't think we have any movie that we watch monthly.
Oh, if Brittany and I had a thing, I think that this would be very much a top runner for being our thing.
Yes, everyone's always very confused when we tell them that this is the movie that we watch regularly. They're like, I've never even seen that movie.
But like, watch it. It's us. I mean, it's every bit of it.
So every bit of it, you guys said that you think just the amalgamation of all of the characters is you? Explain more of how you guys think this movie is you.
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, it starts off with the PowerPoints, and we've already discussed that one. So very clearly, I mean, like, we went on a trip with my parents and literally handed them a hardcover itinerary.
Yes, they will attest to that.
Yeah.
That is fantastic, and I forgot about that scene at dinner when they hand it to him, and he goes, "Oh, this is real."
That's what inspired that.
Hardcover, yeah.
And so for us to like, put together that level of effort.
Yes.
And I think the other thing we did mention was, the infertility thing. So like that PowerPoint where he's like going through, like you're really coming through the heart on that one. Like that is too real. Like if you're not in it and haven't experienced it, you kind of like think it's comedic, but it's like that's a real thing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also when they were, we even were talking about this last night when we were watching it, when they were picking out the tile. Like that is something I would say, like get in this with me right now. And then Nick doesn't even care. Like he's not about the tile selection process.
Yeah. I'm like, you just pick something. And then she goes on to say something along the lines of, yeah, but then you're going to complain about it in a year from now. And then I have to go and say, well, that's fine. I've lost my right to complain. And so we have that conversation often.
Yes.
So now here's the question, Brittany. Does he actually not complain after he's given that right away?
I feel like that's 50-50. Sometimes he does, sometimes. But he knows that I have a conversation to go back to and say, well, hey, I asked you.
I make a concerted effort.
Well, it's funny because I actually wrote down similar stuff for Danielle and I, and that same couple, like, she talks about it's an important day for me, and like how she's clearly told him multiple times all of the things that are on their calendars together. And he is like, sure, I remember that. And I feel like I do that all too often to Danielle. She keeps our social calendar very nicely and keeps me on track. And then she's like, I told you about this 2 days ago and a week ago and 2 weeks ago when I first asked you. And I'm just like, yeah,
Pow,
sure,
pow.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's me to a T.
And then I feel like the exact opposite in terms of the gender roles for the I love this tile, like, because she gets him to say that he loves the tile first, like gets him to commit to it, and then says good because it costs $1,000 a square foot or whatever it was.
What is this made out of? What is it? Elephant tusks?
I feel like that's something I have done to you, Danielle. What do you think?
Yeah, you like the expensive stuff. No, I agree. Like that couple is just I think that's why the movie works, is most of them are rooted in reality. Even though I don't like Vince Vaughn and in Sex and the City. I'm sorry, I don't know their names. I mean, not Vince Vaughn. Sorry, Jon Favreau and Sex and the City. It's still, I think, very relatable. Like, they're clearly together for their kid that they had when they were in high school, and like, that's real. That shit happens. He's also, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure because you've seen it a million times. Like, this is based in Chicago, very clearly. Like, there's a lot of Chicago Easter eggs, and he's a Chicago cop. So that's just like another level of like, yeah, I could see Chicago cop acting like that, like being toxic masculinity.
It does really bug me though that they purport to live in Buffalo Grove, but he's a Chicago cop, and Chicago cops have to live within city limits. So that
correct. He would live in Mount Greenwood.
Yeah, but his daughter goes to Buffalo Grove, so like, I don't know, can't.
Yeah.
For listeners who don't know Chicago geography, the Mount Greenwood and Beverly areas are on sort of the south side of the city, and Buffalo Grove is northwest, correct? Yeah, so it would be the equivalent of like imagining you had to drive around the entire city of Chicago and would go like 2 hours out of your way to take your child to that. Yeah. So it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts about the movie? Anybody? Any scenes we didn't talk about that you guys really wanted to?
Oh man, okay, I could go for hours on this one, so maybe don't ask me that. What scenes have we not discussed? So one of my personal favorites.
The end scene.
Well, Brittany mentioned it is kind of just like, oh, it's over. Here's your wooden animals.
I felt like they just needed to wrap it up for the sake of wrapping it up, but it wasn't. I don't know. There wasn't like a plot behind it. I don't know.
I want to know how true he got home.
Yeah, even the animals didn't make that much sense.
Oh, they didn't?
Not all of them, I don't think. I don't know, like the bee?
Yeah, okay, that one was maybe a little bit of a stretch. But the ass?
Yeah.
I mean, that one's fitting.
The ass. For sure.
I did say I felt like that describes.
Same.
Yeah, I will say also, I feel like this movie just gives you like travel wanderlust too, because you have like those beautiful overwater bungalows and they take you on a tour of the room. And even after we watched this the first or second time, like I Googled that to see if we could possibly stay there in a way. Ain't happening ever.
Ever.
That's in the Maldives, I think, right? Which is like this special little coast off of I don't even know where, and it costs like $5,000 to go and stay there.
It's mildly insane.
So it is a real place. It's just, yeah. It's also like Nick was saying this. The one guy who's like single but brings his 20-year-old girlfriend. How is he affording going on this trip with his girlfriend if he's asking for money to buy a motorcycle?
Right, even at a discounted rate. I'm like, dude,
yeah, that's what I was kind
of
curious about as well. See, and that's the thing, like Jason Bateman, he is such, like I aspire to be him, I think. He is, if you can convince 3 other groups of friends to join you on a week-long vacation across the world with less than 7 days notice.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, they used an excellent combination of, sort of enticing with amazing, beautiful views and fun times and, getting to do adventures, and also a good hefty dose of guilt and basically saying, if you don't take this trip, when we get divorced, it's your fault.
Very true.
Yes.
So those PowerPoints, they don't hold a candle to ours.
No, is it bad? I was sitting there like I critique it every time, and I find something else that bugs me.
PowerPoint has come a long way in the last 11 years. Let's give them some
credit.
All right.
All right. Well, we've kind of talked around it a lot. I assume I know the answers to some of these questions then, but this is the part of the podcast where we usually give a 0 to 5 hearts rating. And then also with that, you can answer sort of, would you renew your vows? Do you continue to love this movie at the same level?
This feels obvious, but
Yeah.
5 hearts. Let's fly to Tahiti and renew our vows today.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. You can't watch this movie monthly and give it anything less.
That is true.
So 5 hearts
Yes,
as well then
yes.
for you, Britt. All right. I'm impressed. There are movies I would definitely watch monthly that I would not give 5 hearts to. So, yeah.
Oh, we
props
have
to
an
you both.
unhealthy obsession with this movie.
Dani, how about you?
I would give it 4 out of 5, and I would definitely watch it again. It's very enjoyable, and it's relatable, and it's a good chuckle. Boom.
Bang, bang.
Pow, pow. I would renew my vows because I remember liking it, and I liked it more, I think, this time. I think maybe I could see why you guys go back to it monthly, because it's a movie that I feel like the further you get in your relationship, the more you can see yourself in the different characters, like you guys said.
I was going to say, you're married now, and the last time you watched it, you weren't, so.
Right?
Yeah,
So
that's
now watch it the
relatable.
next time when you have kids
Absolutely.
and you're like, I am so on that journey with you.
Well, you'll have to remind us when that happens for sure.
5 to 10 years, you know? Nick, how many hearts would you give it?
I'd say 3.5.
Oh.
That hurts. That hurts.
Oh.
I can't like, it's in terms of like it actually being a like truly objectively quality movie. To me, the way I rate things, that's the heart rating is that. And then the like, would I watch it again? Do I like it as much as I did the first time? Is the renewing vows. So that's an easy one, yes. But the rating, it's still it's got some flaws.
They don't see the
It's a
flaws.
very traumatic experience.
They're never going to be on our podcast ever
I want
again.
to sit here and be lectured by black and white suburban trash.
Oh man. Well, ending on a high note then, I guess. Is there anything else? Where can our listeners
You can visit our website. It's familyonstandby.com, or go directly to our YouTube channel, and it's youtube.com/familyonstandby, and basically any other social media platform /familyonstandby.
All right. And Dani, where can they find you if they're interested in keeping up with your gummings and goings?
Well, nothing's currently going on, but you can follow me on Instagram at DaniMiami4. That's it.
All right. And you can find us on you can find us on the Anchor app. You can find us on Facebook if you search In Love with Movies. You can find us on Twitter. And if you search In Love with Movies, you can find us on TikTok and Instagram as well. In Love with Movies. I think Instagram is InLove_movies, right, Dani?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And then you can also find us on our website,
Hey,
which
you're
was
welcome.
built by Nick. Thank you very much, Nick. InLoveWithMovies.com. And thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate you all spending some time with us during these trying times. And if you found us through the Geek History Lesson podcast, a very special hello and welcome to you as well. Thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Love
Stay
you.
safe. Stay healthy. Wash your
home.
hands. Stay the heck home.
If these people who literally travel all the time are managing to stay home
Right.
and stay sane, you can do it too. All right. Well, I love you, Nick and Brittany.
Love
I
you
love
too.
you, Dani.
Thanks for
We love
having
you too.
us.
All right.
Bye.
We love you, guests. Have a good time.
Hey there, movie lovers. We want to take a quick second out from the podcast to talk to you about something that's really important, I think, to us and to all of us, really. Ballot Ready. This is a tool that we use that's nonpartisan. Everybody knows that the election is coming up, and everybody knows who they're going to be voting for with regards to the presidency. We're not trying to tell you who to vote for. What I'm trying to tell you is that you should also be prepared for the down-the-ticket items, as they call it. Ballot Ready is a great organization that helps you do that. So even though this presidential election, there are many candidates on the ballot besides the president. If you go to Ballot Ready for non-partisan guide for your whole ballot, the entire thing. Dani and I have been using this for years, and we used it this year as we were getting ready for the voting that was going to take place. From there, you can compare candidates based on stances, issues, biography, or endorsements, and then save your choices. You can even save them. So you can do this in advance, bring your phone in with you, and then use that to vote. You save your own ballot when you're voting by mail or in the voting booth. So you can request an absentee ballot even from there and make a plan to vote early on election day. Making a plan is going to matter. This election matters. Make sure you have a plan to vote and make sure that you are informed. So go to ballotready.org. All you have to do is enter your address and make a plan to to go vote and to stay informed and to vote informed. So again, ballotready.org, enter your address and you'll get your whole ballot in advance. Make sure to visit it and get out the vote. This podcast has been produced by me, Nick Baldwin. Theme music by Danny Smith. Using the Anchor app